Okay. Alrighty. Greetings. This is you, Virgo. Okay. This here is Tarot Lumination. This is your mini general report, kind of broad spiritual reading, broad spectrum, August 2018. Okay. Thank you for visiting Tarot Lumination. It's a pleasure to have you here. Before we get into anything, we're going to have some hors d'oeuvres, a little bit of an appetizer like I've been doing with the other reports. Just for fun, it's just because it's such a tumultuous month in terms of the planets. It might help to have a little bit of a glimpse at least of what's going on. So for you, Virgo, we're going to use Tarot Illumination Astrodoodle notes over here. Okay, I'll just get into it. This is August 2018, and this is for you, Virgo. What I'm focusing on is one particular thing here, which is the new moon eclipse in Leo on August the 11th, okay? It's happening in your 12th house, the house of self-undoing, the house of endings, the house of where everything just disappears so that everything can start again, okay? It's the house of the ending of all, the house of surrender, the house of loss, the house of universal love, the purity of it all, the spirit, the divine, getting, basically you're basically connected to heaven at this point. But of course, like all things, there's a positive and a shadow side to energy. So it also represents the house of all our failings, punishment, self-undoing, how we undermine ourselves, how we allow others to undermine us, but also it all leads back to us, what have we done to ourselves? And it becomes history, and then it just blows away, turns into digital dust, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So for you, Virgo, you've got this freaking huge like Leo new moon eclipse in your 12th house. So it might be very hard to understand, very hard to deal with, because typically, from my experience, the 12th house energy is very hard sometimes to pin down because it is so nebulous. It's already become so diffuse. It's like where the body is basically turning into spirit again. They're like the body doesn't even matter anymore. So coming out of July, at the end of July, we had this really stark, very, very ultra stressful, challenging full moon eclipse over here, July 27th. And now you might be dealing with the aftershocks for the first 2 weeks of August as the moon moves through here and we reach the Leo new moon eclipse. So over here, at the end of July, right at the beginning of August, you might have been very aware of what is being eclipsed out of your life and what has been culminated like that needs to be eclipsed so that the new stuff can come in when it comes to healthy habits, your lifestyle, the way you treat yourself, the way you serve yourself, the way you serve others, the way that you allow yourself to be treated by others. It's a very humble, almost demeaning house here, often typically very little thanks. And it's just what it is. It's can be very frustrating, that energy. And then you come over here to the realization, wow, you can be the cause of your own undoing. And so what are you going to do about that? You can be very, very consciously aware of your habits, your lifestyle habits, your health, and become extremely sensitively tuned into anything and everything that you have been doing that is not wholesome and healthy and deeply loving of you, and becoming aware of what is good for you. So the eclipse energy is like whatever needs to be eclipsed out of your life is being eclipsed out of your life, voluntarily or involuntarily, stressfully or joyfully. And then what is new? What is being eclipsed into your life, starting this whole new chapter, this new beginning? In terms of self-undoing, how are you going to become self-fulfilling? How are you going to become self-loving at the very deepest core heart of you and turn that into a daily practice, a daily habit? Okay. By the way, I just want to add something here. There's a huge Capricorn stellium in your 5th house of true love and romance in August 23rd. I just thought I'd point that out. That's very, very supportive for you. It's really nothing to do with any of this, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. Okay, just for fun. that's enough of this for now. We've got plenty to do. I can't do this forever, so we got to get on with the reading. Thank you for visiting. Please bring your invisible friends into the reading with you. Like it's a team effort, like you would be huddled down. Pretend you're at the office here at Terra Lumination, hunkered down, face right into the reading, and you're over there, and you got your invisible friends with you, your guardian angels, your spirit guides, and all of that, your loved ones from the beyond. And because that's what we do here at Terra Lumination. Now, the other routine thing is, of course, watch for your sun, moon, and rising, especially if they're all different, and then do the reinterpretation to suit you. Okay, no jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. Sorry, there's no time, there's no room, and that's just how it is. And we're going to use this beating heart deck thing, the beating heart spread, on the understanding that it comes from a very, very wide spiritual perspective, and then we drill down to the very core with laser focus down to the heart energy, because without that there's nothing. Okay, you know, you can have all the, you know, all your chakras are spinning and whirling and very colorful and all of that, but if the heart core center is out of alignment, then everything else is out of alignment by default. So the heart needs what it needs, it wants what it wants, and it's hoping, praying that you, Virgo, the conscious waking three-dimensional self, are going to get more and more tuned into that to make life better for you, which is better for others. Okay? Did you get that little hint that I just dropped? Love thyself. Love you first. Okay? Anyway, here we go. Cards are well shuffled. Bless this deck, bless this reading, bless you Virgos for showing up at all here, picking Terra Lumination to watch this. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Cards are cut, and we are good to go. Oh, bless the internet, bless the cables and the computers and the cameras and everything, and bless YouTube and Google and everything. Why not? This wouldn't happen without that. Anyway, here we go. The heart center here, heart needs what it needs, it wants what it wants, and it's up to you, Virgo, to understand that, tune into that, be aware of that. Without this, there's nothing. What are you bringing in with you? Think of it. What's in your backpack? What's in your pockets? Pretend you just walked in the room. Imagine you're just sitting here hanging out. Like, what are you going to show me? Do you have like a, I don't know, like a resume? Do you have a dream, a wish, a desire, an ambition? Have you got a legacy of pain and failure that you need to express? Do you have issues that need to be divulged? Do you have awakenings and understandings? Whatever it is. Over here, the ever-present now, this is where we own our power. Not in the past, not in the future, right here, right now. And of course, obviously, that's very uncomfortable for a lot of people, unless you're one of those superstar, ultra successful people where everything always goes well for you, and you're at the tippy top of your game. Freaking wow, I envy you. Otherwise, with the rest of us, we're scrambling and struggling to figure out who we are, how, why, where, and when, and just to get through to the next step of our lives in a very practical, Virgoic way. So here we are in the ever-present now. And what does that look like? Because over here in the ever-present now is where you own your power, and you can execute your power through your decisions. And the decision is always to love thyself. Love first, love thyself. So how do you do that effectively so that it actually works? So once you understand this energy here of like our privilege to make decisions, how are you going to like make the best of it? If you, and in so doing, you create consequences, which is a healthy thing to do. Healthy consequences from healthy decisions to love thyself first. So if you don't do that, and if you're one of those people who thinks that life just happens to you, then this will feel like fate. Otherwise, if you're a participant in your own life and you eagerly, joyfully make these tough decisions, then this would be consequence. Okay? And you can never go too deep for this stuff. Over here, so what happens when you're like so-called facing the unknown in your power, making decisions? Because making decisions is essentially what we do as human beings to program ourselves for the best outcomes from what we call our future. So when we're in the zone, what does that look like? How does that look like over here? And it's when it's good. What does it look like when we're not in the zone, when we've abdicated ourselves, uh, and we are not loving ourselves, and we're just floating through? How does that look? It's the same energy inverted. Over here, prospects and momentum for the next beat of the heart. You always want to set up the heart so that the next beat is flowing joyfully from the previous beat. Obviously, situations and traumas and everything will trigger fear, and the heart will have to work very hard. But otherwise, if we keep in the zone, you can reduce the fear so that you don't have to live in a permanent state of chronic PTSD. You can live in a state of joy, comfort, and health, and balance and harmony. And then when SHIT happens, then you deal with it, but you don't stay there. Okay? Over here, circumstantial energy. Let's have a look. This is around you. Pretend it's the environment in which you're swimming. Think of it as weather. That's how I like to think of it. And we just have to make the best of it. So for you, Virgo, here we go. I see the Six of Pentacles here. So to me, this is an indication that, like, to me, it feels a little bit awkward, but also beautiful, in that you're seeing in your environment, your world, your people, your activities around you, your habits, your own behaviors, as reflected back to you from your own experiences, from the decisions you make and the behaviors that you express, and simultaneously, that's happening in the context of other people. So you're in an environment right now where it's like you can see the consequence of your decisions at the most microscopic levels. Like, wow, like if I had too much of this, then how does my body feel? If I did that to this person and it was subconscious, how did they react? All of these things kind of adding up into an awareness, an acute awareness at a very detailed level. And being aware that at some periods you're on the receiving end of energy and resources and gifts, and there are periods when you are the giver of gifts, and it's all perfectly good, all of it happening simultaneously. So it's in a way it's kind of neutral. I feel it's very, very neutral, but it's very beneficial for you in terms of getting like clear-cut awareness. Okay, now typically I wouldn't say that, Leo and Virgo is like a match type of energy, but I see that this is very harmonious for you, and it gives you a chance to very, very methodically understand kind of like the laws of attraction and how things work, like when like in very, very pure, like mechanical scientific terms. When you invest and you grow yourself, it gives you the opportunity to be generous and kind to others, and that reciprocates back to you. Be loving, be loved, be generous, be on the receiving end of generosity, and so on. So let's have a look. Let's go for it. Here we are at the core heart center. Okay, with these little Four of Cups here, my feeling is that it's like, since you're not getting directly bombarded and hit by these things, this is the Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus axis where all the stressors are living, and you're not getting that directly. Now, also at the early part of the month, Venus is in Virgo over here. So in a way, you're kind of like gently protected, but it will be moving into Libra, okay? So I feel it's almost like you're a very sensitive animal right now. If you think of like any of those crazy animal videos where I'm not doing anything crazy, but you're just one of those animals that's in a state of acute awareness, like super ultra high level awareness, like your antennas are very well tuned in. Because over here, we have this lingering long-term ongoing thing with Neptune in your 7th house of relationship, where there might be this very diffuse, dreamy, very beautifully, like spiritually, divinely ordained type of relationship dynamic going on. and then coming back down to earth, like, where you have to deal with day-to-day reality of like, oh, well, maybe I don't see them every day, or maybe this is just a dream, or maybe this is just an illusion. But the thing is, it's there. It's actually real, so you have to deal with it. I don't see a lot of people talking about this aspect with the Neptune and Pisces thing here, but it's very real. It's very strong because Neptune is like at maximum expression right now, but it's opposing you. So it could make you feel in some ways like at the heart level, your heart might be like in this, like, what's the word I'm trying to think of here? Like your heart might be in this place where you're very acutely and vividly aware of the harmony and the balance and the good stuff around you, and also the imbalances around you in terms of how you give and how you receive. That it's all about the acute awareness here. And so the heart is saying, like, I need this. I need this, dear Virgo. I need this period of just hanging back a little bit so I can absorb and understand what is happening right now. Uh, I am your heart. I'm at the very core of you, and without me, there's nothing. But I'm just letting you know, in some ways, I've been under a lot of stress, and I need to chill a little bit. And if I'm honest with myself, I have been a bit overwhelmed, and I'm still feeling that. And I have honestly admitted to myself that I am losing focus on what really counts, which is the love that we do have all together here right now. Thank you very much. So please forgive me, dear owner of me. I am still here. I'm still full of love, and I'm still a pumping heart. But in some ways, I'm kind of in mourning right now because of these awakenings of very, very subtle, very, very hard to understand awakenings of what is happening for you, Virgo, and what has been happening for you, Virgo, in the last month regarding your most profound relationships. Okay, things that are very beautiful, things that are very, very tragic, all happening simultaneously. Okay, so it needs to be absorbed and understood, and needs to be marinated and like left to percolate for a while. And just please allow that for your heart, Virgo. Don't force your heart to like go into military grade and full bore for you. Allow your heart to just like be a little bit sad if it wants to be, and then come out again, okay? And understand also here that it's almost like the best thing you could do is understand how, like, in some way or other, you're part of the equation of your own self undoing for whatever is not working for you, but you are also part of the equation of this amazing, beautiful thing that is working for you. So all it comes down to, eventually, you know that this will change, and you already know that energy flows where attention goes. So eventually your heart will grow out of this, and your energy will focus on the love as opposed to the love that's lost, or the coulda, woulda, shoulda. And then what is the love that's here for you right now? Like a tiny microscopic miniature Ace of Cups. That is the healing power of love moving into your life from up above. It's just not your center or focus of attention right now. That's all. So what are you bringing in with you? Okay. Well, obviously something good has happened. This is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if anybody popped a question to you, or if anybody sees you as someone who needs to be shared with themselves in a public setting, so to speak, where, like, to me, this looks like extremely shy energy here, extremely shy energy about reality checks. Typically, Virgos are not like, very, very flamboyant in terms of Leo energy. And the Leo energy here in your eclipses is happening in your 12th house energy area anyway, which is typically very, very almost invisible. So my feeling is that it's like you're bringing in with you now. It's almost like saying, hey, Terra Lumination, like, yeah, it's been a little bit weird, and I'm sort of confused and lost and traumatized, and I feel kind of sentimental and perplexed, not sure what to do. But something really awesome happened, and that was proof to me that I am deeply loving and that I'm deeply loved and that everything's going to be okay some way, somehow, and everything is in balance. I'm in a position of receiving, I'm in a position of giving, and it's all beautifully harmonized and balanced because I need the good stuff, and I know the people in my life need the good stuff that I have to offer them. And I just wanted to tell you, Terra Illumination, it's actually kind of cool. I don't know if we're actually going to have a party about all this, but it's really, really nice. Okay? And then Terra Illumination says, okay, well, thank you for sharing that, Virgo, dear shy Virgo. Um, we don't have to broadcast this to the whole world, but maybe some congratulations are in order for you. Okay? And that could encourage your heart to realize, like, okay, well, we all make mistakes. We have all been loving and been loved and been accepted and rejected, dumped, and we've chased after them. They've chased after us. We've dumped people. They've dumped us, and so on. But coming in right now, it looks like you truly do have something very joyful to celebrate that um, might have a very public uh, sort of energy about it. You know what happens when couples get together? Even if you're very discreet, eventually people find out. So that's what I'm sensing here a little bit. But it feels this energy, all of this here feels extremely shy, very, very, very reserved, very, very secret, very humble. Okay? Um, Very loving too. All right, what about the now? Let's have a look. Okay. The thing is about it, of course, if we're looking at the challenging aspects, let's say that's the Neptune energy over here in your seventh house. And with this huge, Neptune, itself like rules the 12th house of divinity, of idealization, of purity, universal love, the inspiration for all arts, music, writing, poetry, and everything beautiful like that. And at the same time, the eclipse is lighting up your 12th house, which is ruled by Neptune. Aha. Some professional astrologers would probably have a word for that. I don't know if it's mutual reception or something. I've heard of that, but I don't think it's a coincidence. So what I'm feeling here is that you're very, very acutely aware in very, very profound, but very delicate, private, humble, sensitive ways that this is actually a bit of a problem for you. It's like, oh dear, like this in all its loveliness in some ways is a bit confusing. It's a bit of a problem because maybe you don't understand the hows and whys of this, how it came to be. Maybe there's a lot of challenges that come with being so fortunate. Maybe these are challenges that you can't face, you're not willing to face. On the other hand, maybe you are dealing with it perfectly well right here and right now by choosing to deliberately continue to move on as though it's a puzzle, so that you are not impaired by all the potential stresses and conflicts, and instead you're ignoring the stresses and the conflicts and proceeding anyway, knowing that about the only thing that you can rely on is your deep subliminal spiritual GPS system to get you to navigate through this maze, through this puzzle, and to come out okay. So that's good. Even though it can be a scary card for some people, I see that as good in this situation because I think that's a good way to conduct oneself here, right in the now. Treat everything as an ongoing puzzle. Then it's nothing here is to harm you. It's just that these are very challenging circumstances for everybody with the eclipses. Plus, you have the extremely challenging energy of Neptune in the seventh house. So it's like you have an excuse. You have an excuse for things to look like this, all right? So, in the moment, in the present, here in the now, forget about the past, forget about the future. Let's just say you're dealing with like being in this very delicate maze kind of situation where you have to navigate and continue moving forward. You are exposed to an energy field that correlates to your decision making faculties. What does that look like? The sun. Wow. Okay, it's almost in some ways like you're bulletproof. So even though you might be deeply, deeply concerned on very subtle levels about what's happening to you on your spiritual journey, your heart, your passions, your desires in life, and how are they going to unfold? And what is the cause of my own self undoing? How do I undermine myself? How do I allow others to undermine me? Whatever that is, I'm going to figure it out and deal with it. And with the Sun card here in your decisions, making your decisions, it's like when the decision making is always about love. How am I going to love myself? What is the most loving thing I can do for me right now? And how am I going to get that? Love thyself. What does the heart need right now, and how are you going to get that? And and it's very, very, very simple. Whatever makes you happy right now. So if whatever makes you happy is like cleaning the bathroom, do that. If whatever makes you happy is putting some extra hours in overtime to get some extra pay to cover up some credit card loan or something, do that. If whatever makes you happy is like chilling out and just hanging out, seeing if you can be useful to others, and also being willing to receive joy and happiness from others, do that. Whatever it is, being happy is the core theme here. It's almost like embarrassing. It's just like, am I really allowed to be happy? Is that okay? Is that legal to make a decision to put joy and happiness first for me? And then Tarot Illumination says, yes. In fact, that's one of the laws. It is the number one law. Be happy, be loving, be loved. And then Virgo says, oh, well, I'm not sure if I'm deserving of all that. And then Tarot Illumination says, geez, please, be loving, be loved, be happy. You have a right to that just as much as anyone else. This is like the Leo energy blazing out here in your 12th house. You have the right to be your most amazing, beautiful, awesome, spiritually expressive, divinely creative, divinely in tune person with heaven, angels, and all beyond in a way that's almost embarrassingly beautiful. Don't apologize for this, okay, Virgo? Even though you might want to run and hide because it's so much light. Like, oh my God, am I emitting so much light when I make decisions that are loving about myself, which is good for everyone else? Yes. But please do not dim your light in order to avoid other people having to feel awkward from your own love and your own light. Don't do that, okay? That's very, very subtle forms of self-destructive behavior. So how do you stay in the light? How do you continue to love thyself decision by decision? Oh boy. Well, maybe this is connected to this, is connected to this in such a way. This is not a love and relationship reading, okay, Virgo? However, we do have to admit that big Neptune in all its power and subtlety is right slap in the middle of your 7th house. So the issue of love and relationship it's on the table. Literally, it's here. It's in the conversation, even though I'm not trying to, this is not a love and relationship reading. So when you're making your decisions to be happy, to love and be loved, it's important to do that in the context of a significant other who gets it, who totally understands it at the purest, most profound, most loving levels possible. Anything less than this is not good for you. And my feeling is that there's kind of a loop going on here already. I have a feeling you already know what's happening here, Virgo. It's just like it's almost too embarrassingly yummy and good for you. So it's like this can't be. But I have a feeling it is. So when you're making your decisions to love and be loved, to be loved thyself, some of the best ways that can happen is when you see it reflected back to you from a significant other who loves you as much as you love them at these super high frequency Neptunian levels. Very, it's like a very, very pure kind of love. And it seems to be, maybe this is what you were detecting. And maybe it's like coming into a positive feedback loop in your life where you're realizing, wow, that thing that I came in with at the beginning of the reading, you know, Tarot Illumination, we were talking about that. I think it's because I'm in love. They love me and I love them. And Tarot Illumination goes, okay, well, that would make perfect sense here. So just go for it. Like, you know, go for it. I mean, seriously. And it's like Virgo is like, oh, blah, blah, I don't know what, I've never done this before. And then Tarot Illumination says, it's okay. Just follow this. It's just like follow it. Just follow it. Consequently, it generates consequences. Abundance. It's like you attain mastery in abundance. But this is the evidence of love in 3 dimensions, where it's almost like you're creating it. Like there's no magician card here yet or anything, but to me this feels almost like magical energy, and the energy of being very, very closely tuned in to the physical 3-dimensional reality, and allowing for all the mysterious, wonderful, magical things to happen that most people would say, oh, that's from a movie or a fairy tale or a story, but it's actually for real for you. Because the environment is supporting this. So you get to a point where you realize, oh my God, it is a formula. You choose happiness. You choose to love thyself first and foremost. And then this little Ace of Cups starts to actually come into fruition and existence. And you can gently, gently refocus your energy over here. And you start to realize, like, wow, I am the master of material manifestation in my life, in my world. Thank you. Oops, I didn't want to brag about that. Sorry, everybody. But that's awesome. I am that good. Oops, sorry. I don't want to brag too much. Everyone might judge me, or I might lose my privileges here. But seriously, Virgo, you've got so much here going for you. I think it's beautiful. It just might be a bit of a shock to you in some ways. Let's have a look. So what happens if you're out of the zone and you start to neglect yourself and you undermine yourself and you degrade yourself, you diminish yourself in order to accommodate the others who are dealing with their own doo-doo, whatever that is. Kaboom. Okay? Like everything falls apart perfectly. Okay? It's perfectly natural. So you have these highly, highly contradictory energies here. So like when you are in the zone and you do love thyself first, and you understand that you are deeply, deeply loving and deeply loved to the point where it deserves honor and respect and celebration, even to the point of going public, and it has been manifested by you, like almost like whether you know it or not, like you made this happen. You deserve this. You've made it happen, and it's happening. Excuse me. So what happens is it's like, however you look at this, everything gets blown up. I see this is very much to do with the eclipse energies, where you realize, oh my God, everything that didn't work was my own problem. Everything that's working is my own doing. That's fantastic. So you realize the amazing power we have with the healing power of our decisions when you actually truly focus the love on you. It's amazing. The Tower I see is one of the most powerful healing cards in the deck, because you just literally, like the eclipses, it blows anything and everything away that is not yours, and it allows room and space when the dust settles for everything that is yours to come to you. This is turning into a long reading. Excuse me. Sorry. Let's have a look over here. So what it feels to me, what this triggers is an awareness that you have like a right and a duty and a responsibility now to take charge and succeed in your new life going forward, whatever that is. And you can still use this formula going forward. We're just talking about August here, but I think what's happening here is this is kind of the setup. Like July and August were very, very, very tumultuous months with the eclipses and everything. But if you look at the charts going forward, settling into September, which happens to be your kind of season, Virgo season, the September-ish period, it's like this is all the setup for you getting in the zone, for you to actually take charge and live your life for you, which is what's best for everyone else, instead of having to sublimate this stuff. Because it might be that this stuff never ever had a chance to happen before until now, but it's happening now. So it's just like, and it's beautiful. And yeah, I would understand if you're like shy about this because it's almost embarrassingly good. But on the other hand, with the Leo energy here, it's basically saying it's time. It's time for you to shine. Okay, hold on. It looks like the video is frozen. Okay. Oh, now it's released itself. So I don't know what got saved out of that little freeze up there. But anyway, let's leave it at that. There's enough going on here. You can reinterpret however you want. All the best, Virgo. Have a super August and think of this as getting prepped up for September. Okay? All righty. You can handle it. Bye-bye.